What is going on, guys? What's going on, YouTube? I just want to start this video off, obviously, as this being an intro to the channel, I want to start this video off by saying thank you to anyone and everyone that is watching this video right now or is coming to support this channel. I do really appreciate it. Any likes, comments, anything along the lines of that. I do appreciate anyone that is here for me on the start of this journey for the channel here and for us. In the video, guys, I want to talk a little bit about the cars that I do have. And you maybe just saw a little sneak peek of it right there behind me, but I want to talk to you guys a little bit about the cars that I drive and what I do own. So first, I'm going to get into my daily driver. So as you guys could see from that clip there, you got to see what my daily driver is. And yes, it is a 5th gen 2012, sadly to say, RS Camaro. Yes, it is not a V8. That's probably one of the things that I regret the most about getting this car, but I will say I still truly love this car. It is still a ton of fun to drive. But reasons being, just give you an explanation, being a V6 is back in then when I bought the car 3 years ago, it was a little expensive insurance-wise to get a V8, especially what my age was when I purchased this car, so 3 years ago. So it was a little too expensive for me. This was the better option, and I wanted something cool. How it all started to get this car is I was always a big truck person. I owned trucks when I was younger, and then one day I went to go look at another truck, and I brought my girlfriend with me, and she saw not this specific car, but a similar car. It was a 2012 RS Camaro. We test drove it because she bugged me. She really wanted to test drive it. She thought it was really cool. We went out, took it for a ride, and I can't tell you how much I fell in love with it. So ended up going and searching the market, and I found it. Actually, I didn't find it. My girlfriend found this one, and I absolutely fell in love with it. Went out, looked at it, loved this color. If you guys can't see from those photos that I shared with you, that little reel of photos, this blue pops. So really do love this car. Really love how reliable it is, and I don't have any complaints with this car. I seriously do love this car. And now I'm going to get into talking about a little bit of what I've done to this car since I've owned it. It's been about a little bit over 3 years now that I've had this. Now the question, what did I do to this car since I've had it for 3 years? Now I'm going to go over kind of the cosmetic things and kind of what I did in terms of the build process for this car. The very first thing that I did was I took this thing straight to the tint shop within the first couple days of owning it, and I did 20% tint on the windows all the way around in the back. Other than the windshield, nothing on the windshield. Around here, anything on the windshield, you're gonna get pulled over so quick and get fined. So nothing on the windshield, no sun strip, nothing like that, just 20% tint all the way around. Now, another thing I did right after that was the wheels. As you can see, they are not curb rash, it's just peeling of paint all around the wheels. Like if you can kind of see right there, it's just paint is just peeling off of this. I did it myself 3 years ago, and it turned out really great. It held up for a really long time until pretty much recently it started falling apart. But I did paint these wheels black. It was a gloss black, and I fell in love with that look. I wanted to go for a murdered out look with this dark blue color. So that was one of the first things that I did too, was right after the tint, I went and took the wheels off, started painting them. So all the wheels are this gloss black look, and absolutely love the way they look on this car. Really does set it apart from that chrome look that was originally on them. That blue and the chrome just really didn't suit what I liked. At least the style of the wheel with the chrome just didn't look good. So went with the black and did that. Now the next thing I did was marker lights and the front emblems. Now as you can see with that marker light, what I did, instead of it being cheap, instead of going out and buying marker lights, maybe a smoked or tinted marker light, I decided to put 5% tint on it myself. Turned out to be a pretty crappy job. It didn't really end up holding up very long. Like I said, it's been over 3 years, and that tint has really come off with all the weather and beating on it. But I will say some of the other ones have held up really nicely, like this back one right here has held up really nicely. And then did on the Camaro emblems, the Chevy emblems, vinyl black. So yeah, I did vinyl black on these Camaro emblems. I didn't really like that goldish yellow that they had on these Chevy emblems. Just really threw off the look of the car. As you can see on that dust cover up there, that was what it's obviously looked like, as you all know what Chevy emblems look like. But I went with the vinyl black. That has held up so well, and it has stuck ever since. 3 years, no chipping, no peeling, nothing. Did the same thing on the rear back there. So I did go with the black vinyl on the Chevy emblems and did 5% on the marker lights so you can still see out of them all the way around. So I did tint on the marker lights, vinyl on the front emblems, tint on the windows and the rear window, and then I blacked out all the RS emblems. They come in a red inside, and I had my girlfriend, who is very artistic and steady-handed. She had painted them black with this black touch-up paint that we have. So she painted them black, held up really nicely. So those are some little minor things we did for the blackout. Now, once I did that, I had decided that I wanted to go with different emblems. As you can see, those are not the stock 5th gen, Camaro emblems. They are really bulky and long blocked Camaro emblems. Hated the look of them. Plus, after all that blacking out that I did, the wheels, the tint, and the emblems on the RS, they just looked really bad. There was no other chrome on the car. It just didn't go with anything. So what I decided to do is, I actually saw this on a car online on Google one time. I saw someone threw old 69 Camaro badges on it, and I thought that looked kick-ass. So what I did is I went out, bought 69 Camaro emblems, and then I had painted them black to really tie into the whole matte black, or the blacked out, murdered out look, and painted those black. Those look super cool. There are chipping on it. Not the best. It hasn't held up the best, but for the 3 years that I have had it, it's done really well for holding up. But it is black. So everything on here cosmetically is pretty much blacked out. That is what I've done in terms of the start to finish on the build on cosmetics. Oh, and one other thing that I did do, which I highly recommend not doing this because it's just a big pain, is we did Oracle lights. So originally on these cars, you do already get a halo on the car, and they do sell Oracle color changing ones that you can buy that pretty much uses that same diffuser, the light, the Oracle inside of it, and then uses it to stick on their lighting on the back side of it and project it to be multiple colors. So I do have Oracle lights to change it to multiple colors, and right now I have it set on like a blue to really tie in with the blue of the car. It's almost like a bluish purple. It looks more closer to the color of the car. So I did do that for cosmetics. Now, the last thing I did on cosmetics, which I think really pulled this car together in the looks to make it look really aggressive, was I put a SS front end conversion swap on this car. I think this looks so much more badass with that hood scoop up there. And I believe down here on the lower valence, it looks a little bit different from what the stock one was, but looks so much better than what came on the original RS or any V6 Camaro that you will find out there. So pretty much it's like a SS clone. It looks like an SS, but it's not. Now, that one was not the original color of when I got this front end. I actually traded someone for 2 dirt bike helmets for this thing, but I had everything color matched on the grill, and it looks super good. So sorry for my neighbor's car's brakes. So that kind of ties into the whole looks of the car cosmetically. Now, getting into other things I did after the car. So those were all the first things that I did, was all cosmetically. It looked really cool when I'm riding down the road. You get a lot of head turns, and I love the way this car turned out. It's a super cool looking car. The next things that I did on the build after that was I needed to replace the brakes. After having it for so long, I replaced the brakes. So what I did was I went out and bought these Z28 drilled and slotted rotors, and then Z28 pads, whichever they had. I found them on rockauto.com. They had them for Z28 Camaros, or the 5th gen Camaros, and I went and bought those pads because ones that were on there originally were actually smaller, and they looked very cheap, and they just didn't look as more of a muscle car, and it really ties together on the whole wheels especially. So what I did was went with drilled and slotted pads, and drilled and slotted rotors, and then got the Z28 pads as well with it. So that's what I did for the braking. Now, getting into the motor, what I've done to the motor. So I have the hood popped here, and I'm sorry if it's dirty. This whole car has been dirty. I've been on vacation, haven't gotten around to cleaning it. But what is done is a cold air intake. I did put a cold air intake on this car, and as well, as you can't see it behind this dust cover, I actually had to trim this dust cover up just so that this can fit. But I went with from a 72 millimeter throttle body to an 80 millimeter throttle body. I did replace that just to give it a little bit more, get up to it. So those are the only motor mods that I did to the car, was just an intake and a throttle body. Now, the last thing I saved here for last is I did put an exhaust on this. I will say it is loud, but it's definitely one that is raspy. All these cars, I believe, no matter what exhaust you put on this thing, it just sounds super, super raspy. So not a huge fan of the sound of it, but I do like the startup of it. I do think it's really loud. I like to have a loud car, but I don't like anything that's super annoying and loud. But it does sound pretty good at idle, and it does sound good from startup. So I'm going to give you guys a startup here real quick. Really want to do any real revs in this neighborhood, because I do have some neighbors that really don't like how loud both of my cars are, which I'm gonna get here in a second of showing you my other car, but really don't like the sound of my cars, how loud they are. So I'm trying not to rev it, but I just did a little start for you guys on the car. It really wasn't a cold start, hasn't been ran today, but it's been hot out today, so the car was kind of warm. I will start the wrap on my daily driver, what I do drive every day and what I commute to work with, ones that I go driving to point A to point B. And this is something that I truly love. It's been super reliable to me these past couple of years, and I really do love this car. But I do want to say, don't plan to keep this thing for long. I do plan to replace this one, so I just wanted to show you guys this car in this intro video. But I will say that this car will probably be replaced here in the near future. So just wanted to let you guys know, or show you what I do daily drive and what will be to come. Just wanted to show you guys what will be, what's kind of started this channel, and what we'll be talking about, what will be coming to the channel. So now getting into my fun car, my toy car that I actually bought 2 months ago. This thing has been kind of like a dream car of mine, and I really do love this car. I actually just took it on vacation with me, so seriously do love this car, and I'm going to show you guys that now. So here, guys, is my 87 Mustang GT convertible. It is a 5.0 302 5-speed. This thing is so much fun to drive. These cars are so lightweight. These cars are just truly, like, I feel like American muscle in these cars. Now, to get into what is done to this car, what has been done to this car, since I've had it, I have not done it. I'm going to go over some things that I got with the car and things that I haven't done to the car, but just show you what is done. So obviously this is not a stock, front rear deck lid here. So this is aftermarket, has this wing lid on the back here, which looks so cool on this car. I really do like this white and black look on the car. It really goes with the top of the car. So do like this. This is something that's been done to the car. Same thing with the hood. They went with another matte black hood. It looks like it came off of like a Saleen at the time, but super cool looking hood. It does have hood pins on it, so really truly do love the look of this hood. Again, it really ties in with the car, the hood, the top, and then as the rear, well as that rear deck lid. So these are something that's cosmetically been done to the car, and as well they have put aftermarket headlights on there. With these originally one piece, or the 2 eyes, not the 4 eyes on the box bodies. They were like 3-piece headlights. They put a single headlight in there, which looks a lot more better, especially because it's a black housing. Ties in really well with the white and black look on this car. Now, wheels. You can tell there's different wheels on it. And yes, this is still a 4-lug car. It has not been converted into a 5-lug car, which a lot of people do that to these cars. So this has OE racing wheels. These things look so good on this car. Tie in really nicely. I really do like this chrome on the pearl white of this car. That is another thing I will say. This is not a stock paint. Originally white, but the original owner, since the paint on these cars that came from factory are not the best and they do peel, a lot of the clear coat comes off of it. They did actually paint a pearl white over top of the white, so it really looks nice. It's super clean. I love pearl white rather than just that plain old white. So this is pretty much cosmetically what has been done to this car is the headlights, the wheels, the rear deck lid, the hood. That's pretty much it. And tint. It's got 20% tint on here. So pretty much that's all cosmetically done to this car. Now, getting into anything performance-wise in this car, almost nothing has been done to this car. This only thing that has on this car is aftermarket suspension. It's got like lowering springs on it. As you can tell, it's seated a little lower than a stock car. So there is lowering springs on this car. And as well, underneath the hood, which I can get to you here in a second and show you. I got to cut the clip right. So here is what's done underneath the hood. Nothing. Other than this ram air intake is the only thing that's done. Still a stock intake on it. Intake manifold on it. Everything is bone stock on this car, which is super hard to find with these Fox body Mustangs, because everyone likes to do heads, cam, all that good stuff, which may be a possibility for this car. Do you want to hear your guys' advice on that? What do you want to see from this car? Do you want to see something maybe like a supercharger, heads, cam, something that give a little chop to it? That's something that I would like to see, but some people might want to see this thing be a totally bone stock 302 50 from a Fox body that you hardly ever see. So again, only thing that's done with this car is that little ram air intake, and that's about it underneath the hood. Now, again, other than the aftermarket suspension, which you can see here is different, definitely aftermarket suspension been done, and that ram air intake, there is a Flowmaster exhaust on this thing. Not sure exactly what exhaust setup is actually on it, the Flowmaster exhaust system. I just know that it has Flowmaster mufflers on it. So, sounds super good. I will give you guys a start up here in a second, but pretty much in a whole, that is all that's been done to this car before I got it. Now let me get into giving you guys a cold start here to hear this car. So as you guys could tell with that cold start, it sounds so good. It sounds true American muscle. That's what I love about these cars, is just the pure American muscle sound of V8 on these cars. So do love the sound of this car. Love how this car drives. It is super good, super smooth on the road. Now to get into a little bit about what I've done to the car. I did all basic stuff, when I originally bought it, of fluids change. I did oil change. I did a rear diff fluid change. About to do a trans fluid change on it and coolant change on this here probably within the next week or so. But that is so far what I've done for the maintenance side of things. Now, when I bought the car, there was a couple things wrong. which is to be expected on a 34-year-old car. First things first, to get over here when you go to the car, the first thing you notice when you come over to this side of the car was this rear quarter glass right here had the biggest gap. It was probably that wide of a gap from the top, and then it got smaller when it went to the bottom. So went to LMR, went on their website, bought a resto kit, did it myself, got it to the best that I could so no water could get in, and it also lined up pretty nicely. So did fix that, changed that myself. That is something that I did spend a couple days working on and, you know, fluttering with back and forth to get it aligned perfectly right, but that is now fixed. Then, getting in the car, I replaced this door handle. The door handle that was on this, you had to jimmy rig this thing just to open it, but now you can open it smoothly. So that is something that I replaced, and the first thing you could see from the outside of the car was that gap on that rear quarter glass, and as well as the door handle. So getting on the interior of this car, as I mentioned, yes, it is a 5-speed manual. Love driving it. It is so much fun to drive this car, especially because they're so lightweight and they break loose so fast. It is a lot of fun to drive around town, especially because I plan to take it up to local car meets. We have a ton of local car meets here. Every Saturday we have a local, actually classic cars car meet at our local Home Depot that I will be taking this to here in the near future. Wanted to get everything pretty much, you know, spick and span before I do bring it up there. Not totally perfect, but definitely want to, you know, get it looking right. Now, since this is a white GT convertible, they used to make these cars, actually, or they did make these cars in a white and red interior, and that's what originally this was. Now, the original owner changed this out to be black leather seats. They did replace the seats when it was a white and red, again, white and red interior. They changed the seats out to black leather, and it still had the black and red dash, but it looked very off because these door panels were actually white and red, and as you can now see, they're black and red. I did paint these vinyl doors black and red, so now they tie in really nicely with the interior. And as well as back here, these side panels here, I did paint those black up top here, all black, and kept the red with the cloth at the bottom. So now it is an all black and red interior. Looks so nice, so clean in here. Love the black and red look, and especially ties in with the black and white look that's outside on the car. And as well as I replaced the shift knob with this black and red 5-speed shift knob, which is a lot better than the stock one. This is a little more comfortable in the hand. It actually looks nicer in the car. It really ties in with the interior. Now that is pretty much all things that you can really notice of things that I've done that were originally on the car when I bought it. Now minor things that I did have to fix that needed to be fixed was right here, the headlights itself. That behind it, there's like the plug-in for it behind it was blown, which scared me, thinking that there was going to be electrical problems. But from LMR, got a new switch here that I replaced, and everything has been working perfectly. I've not had any issues, no smoking, nothing along the lines of that. So that has turned out really well. And as well as I changed this turn signal actuator here. Before, to even have the headlights working, to even use the headlights, because they did not work, you had to put the high beams on, and you had to stick a pencil behind here to hold it in the high beams spot. So got that fixed. Looks super clean now in there with newer parts, and really looks like a solid running car, because it is a solid running car. So that's pretty much all that is done with this car. There's going to be a lot more content on this car. I will say, you know, I probably tend to bring this out, make it a little bit of a street car, fun car, you know, bring it to a lot of these meetups that I want to show you guys a lot of other cars that are up there, and as well as bring these to them. So this is going to be something you're going to see a lot of on the channel. And again, my other car here, the Camaro, you'll see a little bit of this, but I do not plan to keep this thing for long, as I do plan to get a new daily driver, and something that actually has 8 cylinders in it and not just 6. It is missing 2 cylinders, which I need. So getting all that, we'll make some more videos here for you guys. But again, I do want to say thank you. So guys, just wanted to wrap this intro video up to the channel, and I want to say thank you for anyone who has stuck along to watch this video or has even clicking subscribe on the channel. But I do appreciate it. I do appreciate you guys coming and clicking on the video, and at least coming to see my journey and the start of my journey here on this YouTube channel of AllMuscleGarage. So do want to thank you guys again, and I want to say that there's a lot to be made here, a lot of videos to be made. I want to bring good content to you guys and show my real, true enthusiast and passion. This is what I love. I love cars. I've always told people that I've always wanted to do something with cars one day, and this is my little fleet that I have of cars here. And I do want to just take you guys for this journey and show you kind of where we're going to go with things and all the great content that we're going to put out there for you guys. So again, thank you for joining this channel, and we'll catch you back on the next video. See ya.